Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. This is our director's spotlight. Wes Anderson is in that spotlight, and today is The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I am Colton Robertson, and I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. Like I said, we are talking The Life Aquatic. It was released on Christmas 2004. It was written by Wes Anderson and Noah Baumbach, which I did not realize, and directed by Wes Anderson. Noah Baumbach is another guy who I've mentioned multiple times as a potential director we should do this with. I did not realize this was one of his writing credits. That makes a lot of sense. It makes me very happy. But yeah, man, this was your first viewing. How'd it go for you?
Another first viewing. A little, I'm still getting used to Wes's style, but now I feel like after this one, I'm in. I'm in now, and I kind of like his way of storytelling is just so different than other people. Like, I don't know, it's just a different kind of movie, and now it follows the same tropes as the Royal Tenenbaums, a guy that you don't really like and a guy that doesn't have a lot of redeeming qualities at all. But then near the end of the movie, you're crying, you're crying your eyes out at the end there,
I wonder if it remembers me. Buddy, that one, I don't know what it is, but when he delivers that line and he starts breaking, my God, I fucking lose it.
And then the one by one hand on the shoulder,
and he reaches over and touches Cate Blanchett's belly.
That was pretty good. But I don't know. I love that every animal or any sea creature that was in here was just in that claymation,
stop motion claymation sort of thing.
Yeah, it was just to make it more magical. It's like that's his passion. Is what I kind of got out of that is that's what, I don't know. I kind of got the idea that he used to be this super eccentric, in love with sea life, and it seemed that it drove everything he did, and he discussed, I don't know, that's all.
And then the vision changed.
About.
This one, this is one of my favorite Wes Anderson movies. I adore this one. It is in part because of that affinity for sea life and life in general that this movie kind of evokes. It's it asks you to look for the beauty in everything and everything around you. And I absolutely adore it. I think that Bill Murray is brilliant in this movie, and I think that Owen Wilson is damn good in this movie, and one of my favorite little additions to the cast, who I don't believe is in any other live action Wes Anderson movies, is Cate Blanchett. I adore Cate Blanchett, so whenever I saw her in this movie, it just made me so very happy.
And I mean, small character, but every time he pops up, man, Willem Dafoe just is killing it in this movie. I don't know, I couldn't get enough of Klaus.
Klaus.
Whenever he was, I don't know, just seeing, that's the thing. Willem Dafoe, I just know as the Green Goblin for me. That's who he is to me. As I grew up with him, and now I see him as
funny as fuckingness.
Oh my God, he's so good. And I always saw you as my dad's, or don't let anyone make fun of me for that. He's well, I can't promise.
Well, it's so funny because dude, you've got to be roughly the same age as Bill Murray and
no, totally. Yeah, they're Bill Murray even says like right before then he's like, yeah, we saw you as our little brother,
yeah,
like a little brother. And it's like, oh, okay, like, and he even tells, I don't know what to call him. Do you call him Ned? Do you call him Kingsley?
I call him Ned. I call him Ned because the way that it wraps up, the way it finishes is, Steve recognizing that his name was Ned Plimpton, but he calls him, like, the thing he credits him as is Ned Kingsley Plimpton Zissou. So like it's like his middle name and a hyphenated last name, which I can appreciate. So yeah, I'll call him Ned.
Okay, I like Ned. Yeah, I do like Ned more
because that's who he was.
But what an upgrade for Owen Wilson from last movie. Like he went from, I mean, hey, he just that was his role last movie. Didn't call for anything like this. But
he did a damn good job.
He did awesome, and I don't know. I think. No, I think I kind of have to talk through this movie a little bit because I'm still like the first viewing I feel of a Wes Anderson movie is just you kind of got to figure it out as you go along. Like there's I don't know, I'm still like figuring out the movie, and I feel like on second, like I'm just gonna watch this movie a lot. Like I feel like I can focus on one character throughout one movie, like watch a movie or watch it through one lens and get something completely different out of this movie. Because like this, whenever I was first watching it, I'm like, this is kind of a little cult like of like what he's doing, like dressing everyone up in the uniforms, like having the unpaid interns, like the incomplete grades, and like I don't know, like it's kind of and he's kind of like leading everyone out here in very dangerous conditions, and I'm like, where is this going? Like I thought that it was like kind of going down that route, but then I'm realizing it's kind of like this is more of just like a found family here. It's like they're all just a bunch of misfits, and like I think even he says that at some point.
Yeah,
he's like, "Don't you see? We're all just a bunch of something." I don't know what the word.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact verbiage there either, but yeah, exactly. Like none of us belong. All of us are outsiders, and I adore that that perspective. And another thing that's really interesting, and I'd be interested to learn about the relationship Wes Anderson has to his father, because the central figure of both of these movies is a father figure trying to reconnect with their child in some capacity. And there's even still something up in the air about Steve being Ned's actual father, because at one point 𝗷𝗀𝗄𝗃 Huston's character states that he's shooting blanks. He always has, so like it's really unlikely for him to be a father. But that didn't matter, it's like he accepted that role in the end or eventually, and it's better for him to think of himself as his father than to be like, oh, actually he wasn't, he actually wasn't your son. And just that the idea that coming from Gene Hackman's Royal Tenenbaum to Bill Murray's Steve Zissou, very similar characters. Once upon a time, and Royal was never a great guy, but he did his thing. He did what he wanted to do, and but Steve, he was passionate. He loved, and he made the people in his crew feel loved. And then eventually the vision changed, and it became about the money and about like everything. You could tell that some of the flashback stuff was like scripted, but like
I don't know.
It felt more genuine,
Kind of nuts that like in 2004 that they're focusing so much on like having the camera shoved and like making it more about like capturing the moment instead of living in the moment in the now. Like instead of can I call you dad? Like no.
Try Stevesy.
Or like oh, are you getting this? This is gold. Whenever it's like an actual moment, like an actual like moment that he should just be really focused on his son,
No, and he's not. He is doing it for a camera.
And that's I don't know, kind of crazy that they're already kind of focusing on that in like 2004, like before, like because social media hasn't really popped off at all, like in 2004. Like I don't know when was like because I feel like
MySpace would have been the first one.
So like I guess like, but it wasn't like people were shoving a camera in everything at quite yet, I don't think. But I don't know, very interesting that I don't know, it was like I feel like a very big part of this movie. Like, it's just like, you have to, and a big realization that he had, like at the end, he's not in there with the premiere, with everyone else. He's sitting outside and he's with, who is that little boy? That's is that?
I don't know who that little boy is.
Is it Klaus's? No, is it not Klaus? Because it's someone's nephew or something.
Right.
Like, hey, my nephew has like a gift for you. I think it was Klaus's nephew.
Yeah, I think it was Klaus's. I think
or
you're
something
right.
like that. But like, he's just sitting out there with him, just like, I don't know, even has like an award or something already. I don't know. He's like sitting next to him. And like, I don't know, he's just more in the moment, and like and even in the credits, like he's walking with everybody, and like he's I don't know, like way more.
He's become who he once was again.
Yeah, the vision's back. Yeah, the passion's back, I guess.
Ned's made him realize what was important again. And that's what I love about this movie, man, is that like it's a story that I always appreciate. A fallen hero, I don't know that Steve was ever a hero, but like he was once a good man, and they make that clear. He was once a good guy, passionate, loved what he did. A fallen hero who loses their way and finds their footing once again. That's a trope and a vision that I will always love. I fall for that every time. And this is one of my favorites, man. I absolutely adored Bill Murray as Steve Zissou in this performance. He was easily, there's no doubt about it, the performance of this movie.
Yeah. I don't think it can, maybe like Owen Wilson, but it would only be because of like of how like it surprised me of like how well Owen Wilson did in the role. But as far as the movie goes, like it goes to Bill Murray. Like it was his movie, I think like I find myself like I did that for the last movie. I had Gene Hackman for both performance and character, and I didn't just want to like follow suit, but I think that's just kind of the point. It's the main character, and like we're seeing this character arc develop, for a reason, and that's why I don't know. Like Wes chose this, or when they wrote the story, they chose this character as the main character for a reason. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it made like I kind of didn't believe that the tiger shark or whatever was real. At some points I'm like, maybe I don't know what happened down there. Like I'm kind of a little skeptical, but then like that moment, it's so weird because it's so like claymation and so like, but so beautiful at the same time. Like it's the moment that's really
everything,
beautiful.
man.
Like and like the music.
The way, I don't know if you caught this, the music that's playing is Ned's theme for the movie they were making. They choose to turn on Ned's theme for that moment, the one that would have been put in the documentary of the movie they were making.
God, dang.
And so like when that music like swells and the jaguar shark comes over and they're like are you earlier in the movie he's like I'm going to kill that motherfucker. Why would you do that? There's no scientific purpose in that. He's like, revenge. Killed my best friend. That's that. And then later on in the movie, whenever there's like a stipulation like you can't kill that shark, man. We just can't allow it. And he's like, all right, I'll fight it, but I'll let it live.
I'll still
but then
fight
at the end there, whenever he's like, do you still want to blow it up? No, we are out of dynamite anyway. But like you can tell, like even if they didn't have, even if they did have the dynamite, it's not where he's at anymore. And I adore that, like the way they are all just existing there. And there's these, it's not the priority to have Vikram up at the front with the camera showing the jaguar shark. I love the shot of him through the window where he's holding the camera back, and like it's just the camera's become a background part of that moment.
It's just on like his shoulder, but he's watching it with his own
watching
eyes
it
as well. Yeah. Oh, I don't know that. It's one of two shots that I had in my mind was either that shot, not of the actual jaguar shark, but just all of them in the submarine, looking like in awe. But I think my actual shot is whenever Ned is dead and like they're burying him at sea, but then you have Eleanor down in the bubble observatory down there, and the casket like drops down slowly, and she's just down there like
got a
watching
tear running down her face.
Yeah, and I think she was one of the most interesting characters to me, other than Steve. Like, because like, you know, she's the brains of the operation, everything, and like she really is like, she's the one that has to take down skydiving into a volcano, you know, as a viable idea. She's the one that's like, okay, obviously we're not doing that. But I think it's interesting, like, she saw Ned as an opportunity for him to have a son, you know, and like, whether it was biological or not, she knows, you know, he probably can't have a kid anyways. He's shooting blanks. But I think she saw that this is like a way for his vision to come back, you know, a way to put that spark back into him. And if you can have a father-son relationship, all this, everyone else has found kind of family anyways. So I know it just kind of works out, and they have this, you know, we talked about it with the last movie, with like the chemistry of a super long divorce, you know, couple. But here we get it with Bill Murray instead of Gene Hackman, you know, like, but, and like, they have that chemistry though. Like, it's insane. Like, what, like, they're just people that they, I don't know. They don't have this history at all whatsoever.
It's incredible. It's
and like
incredible,
how they can
know?
Just turn that on, and like, I don't know. It's insane to me. But
there's
Anjelica Huston, man, like,
dude, she's fucking good.
Yeah,
she is good at what she does, and you know, she hasn't been my favorite performance for either of these movies, but she is top 2 or 3 in all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, she is right there. She's a constant force in these movies, and I love that. There's that scene where they're standing out on the balcony at Jeff Goldblum's place, and they're passing a cigarette back and forth, and the way it's framed, it's not like I'm curious if it was intentional, but this is where like my head's going while I'm watching it. She is leaning up against the balcony, and straight down the middle of the screen, on her side, it's open sky, water, and boats and everything, and then on his side, it's the trees and the darkness and everything, where he has not yet reconnected with what is important to him yet. And one of those things is Anjelica Huston. It is her role. Like, she's on that side of the screen. He needs to find his way back to that. Dang. And he simply hasn't yet. And
that's sad, because I think the only thing I noticed during that shot was that like the really just hot dude was in the background, like in the balcony below for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
That was like we talked about how like Wes really makes you focus on what you need to focus on, and I think that's the only time in the movie where I'm like noticing something in the background for the first time. Was just that dude was just, I'm like, oh hey, what, that dude's down there, and then I'm like right back in, and like I think they like lit each other's cigarette, or like, you know, or something. They kind of, I don't know. Was that just tobacco, or like?
No, Steve Zissou's blazing the whole.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm like, they did not look like cigarettes to me.
No, they even. I think Anjelica Huston's smoking a cigarette, and then he is smoking a spliff of some sort. But there's that part at the beginning whenever he like offers. He's like, "You want to finish this off?" And he offers Ned that, and Ned's like, I try to stay off the grass, you know.
I see. Okay.
But yeah, man, just the way that this one is an even further step into that style that Wes Anderson and Robert Yeoman have found over the years. Just even the way they present dialogue is even more of that like matter of fact.
Yeah.
Just this is the way things are. This is how I say things. I talk like this. And this is all I do. Like one of my favorite little instances of it is whenever people are talking, he takes the time to turn the camera before they speak. So it's not like a natural conversation where I speak, you speak, I speak, you speak. Someone says a sentence, there's a pause while he turns the camera, that person responds. They pause to turn the camera, that person responds. And it's like it's stilted, but it just works. There's something so stylistically pleasing about it. And I absolutely adore it. And the best example of that is during the like Q&A at the beginning, whenever it like pans all the way up to Ned and then it pans all the way back down to Steve on the stage and stuff. Like that stuff just works. And
I like that.
You gave your favorite shot a second ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you mine. It's the introduction to the boat. Whenever Steve is like, "Let me show you my boat."
Did they build that?
Yes, that is a set.
Okay,
that is a set.
I hope so. I hoped so. Because awesome. Okay,
because it was between like just the going through every room and like everything, like so satisfying. I was tempted to go with the one when Ned and Steve are in the screaming match after he's barged in on them sleeping together, Ned and Jamie, and he's like, I want you out of here, and then he follows him all the way through the boat. And he's like, hey man, wow, you should really be a gentleman. You know, what are we doing here?
I don't know. That's my favorite scene, I think, of the movie. Just because it kind of encapsulates everything. You know, it's like you have that father-son conflict there, you know, and then you get the shot of them going all through the boat, and then you get at the top them fighting, and it's like the most. Now I'm gonna fight you, and then you
don't say now I'm gonna fight you, Steve. You just smile and you sucker punch him.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'll fight my way, you fight yours. And he's like, well, and it just sucker punches him, you know? And I was like, I fucking love that.
So good.
Fantastic scene.
It had to, why? I mean, Jeff Goldblum, you know, coming in, like, why'd they have to make him hit the dog like that? You know, just to get us to hate him?
I think it was,
like the animal cruel, like they did it once with the dog. Obviously, they didn't hit the. You know, it was very obvious that they did not hit the dog. But like they did it there, and then also there was like a little creature that crawled up on Steve's hand, and he flicked it off. You know, and it was like very focused though. That they like it was very purposeful. You know, it felt like. And I don't know. I didn't know. I don't know. I didn't. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Like maybe it was the vision was lost during that time, and like
the way that I looked,
he would never do that before, sort of thing. And now
I looked at Steve's differently than I looked at Jeff Goldblum's. I can't remember that guy's name.
Hennessy is his company. I don't know if that's his actual name. Let's see, Jeff Goldblum. Where are you at? He's not even. Oh, there he is. Alistair Hennessy. Alistair?
Ali. They called him Ali. Or Ali,
Ali.
the whole movie. But I see, because I didn't. It's interesting that you pointed out Steve's, because I didn't even think anything of that, because if a lizard's crawling on me, I am also going to quickly brush or flick it away.
True.
Because it's a
creepy
slimy thing on my skin.
Yeah. Fair.
So I didn't think into that too much, but the way that I thought of Allie's treatment of the dog is that like it's I think it was supposed to make us okay with the idea that Steve broke into his facility and stole all of his equipment and stuff. But I think part of that was to also drive home the pure scientist angle in Allie. He doesn't have sympathy for the things he's looking at or the things he's studying. He is purely there for the study of it. He's not there to take care of it. He's there to learn. And,
I see. Because he does also say that
life around him.
That's true.
So it translates to the dog. He does what is probably the best way to make sure a dog shuts the fuck up. And it's not good. I don't like it. But scientifically, he was like, I know how to make this dog quiet right now. I think it's because he doesn't have a lot of empathy. It's why his marriage didn't work out. He proclaims that it's because he's part gay at the end of the movie. Well, I think they say we all are a little bit.
That might be I don't know. It might be my favorite line. I love that. It was pretty good.
So true.
Like, I don't know. It might be my favorite line. I'm going back and forth between Klaus saying that he, you know, his two, you know, he always felt like he was, you know, the two dads. or that everyone, apparently everyone is, or just that interaction they had was pretty good. But like, I love how, I don't know, the movie is so simple. Like, he set out for a mission to find this shark. That's it. They go out. Oh, pirates, and then they have to rescue, I want to get his name. Just Bill.
Yeah. It's just Bill.
Oh my God. Like, what, like, instead of just making him boring, like off the very rip, he's like, well, I'm still a human being or whatever. And he's like, what,
right.
actually, I take that back, and I'm like, hey, like, okay, like, kind of, whatever. I didn't expect anything from this character. But then, like, what a real one this dude was, like, just think, I don't know, his message, his call kind of sucked. He could have done it a little better, like, not gonna lie. Could have, I don't know.
I found help. What?
Yeah.
No, but
like,
okay.
Just the fact that they're like, yeah, we have to go back and save this dude. And then that we get a whole scene of them infiltrating an island, just going through everywhere. Yep, it's clear. All right, whatever. They're not here. And then like the last couple of rooms they check, it's like, oh, well, here's Bill. And here's all the pirates and Ollie. And then he just gets shot in the chest, which I think is hilarious.
Steve,
like instantly.
Are you here to save me? Fold. I fold.
Just get shot.
Shot right in the chest.
Boom.
No, that's hilarious. Another one of my favorite shots was actually a little bit later, whenever they've tracked down the shark, and they're like, Steve's like, all right, what do you guys say we go do this thing? And he's standing by the door. It's like a shot of the entire bridge, and Jeff Goldblum's like laying in the middle of the floor with his with his bandages wrapped around him and stuff, and everyone is like standing around him. Like, I don't know, like, it's just so it was so Jeff Goldblum and it was so Wes Anderson. There was everything came together in that moment that just made me very satisfied. Talk
about the style, like just the jumpsuits, the beanies, the shoes, the like. I feel like, I don't know, is this one kind of like do people actually like have these beanies and like the jumpsuit? I don't know. I feel like this
I'm
is
sure.
like this is just kind of, I don't know. I've never really seen, I guess, this look before. Like, I don't know. I feel like I would have seen this somewhere.
Right. No, yeah, it's very original, and it's a vibe. I kind of want one of those beanies, and I kind of want to wear it like that.
Yeah, like an Adidas sponsor, just a little Adidas sponsor in there,
the little exercise they do where they like kick up their feet into the middle
these
of their...
are nice. Yeah, he's like, these are nice. Like, I don't know, there's just so, like, we said last movie with the Royal Tenenbaums that it just kind of felt like really good journalism, and this just kind of felt like it was just a really good documentary. Like, we were actually watching the documentary of the documentary, like, sort of thing. But it was still
the journalism angle with Jamie. It's
okay, true. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's so interesting how he envelops like a medium of art in his storytelling. And I don't know. I don't know if
it's always so fascinating because it's almost like they approach the writing and filming process from an objective place, which is bizarre for a movie. It feels like you are telling a story. It's natural for biases to leak into that story. You know what I'm saying? But there's something so objective about the way we view every single character. Like, you don't see... There's not the closest thing we get to like a perfect person in this movie is Ned. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is and Jamie. They're both just good people.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it's like they've all got flaws though. Everyone's got flaws, and it's like it's so fascinating to see in an hour and 50 minutes or whatever the fuck, however long this movie is, to just lay those flaws bare and let you watch them, appreciate them, and eventually love these characters. And to do that without being like, oh, my character's perfect. Like, you can't possibly find anything that would be wrong with this guy. No, Steve Zissou's a piece of shit, and they make that clear. But by the end of the movie, you like the guy, and you like him a lot. That's just...
He wasn't always like that. You know, like that's you always kind of get that impression is that like just it just was this one event that got him down in a rut and he lost his vision and he just wasn't who he was, because no way all these people would follow him like they do if this was the reality all the time. You know, like this it really felt like they had something really good going on. Like you have so many different people like on this boat, which is the cool thing. Like the music guy, thank fuck for the music guy. Pele? Oh my god. Thank God. Okay, was it...
Just played nothing but David Bowie, which I absolutely loved, by the way.
Was it actually just in a different language? Or was some of it...
Portuguese.
Was it actually Portuguese?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I felt like some... Okay. It could just be my English brain. Like, I feel like I know enough Spanish and enough Portuguese. Or, like, not enough Portuguese at all. But I know enough Spanish where, like, I kind of know if it's Spanish somewhat. Yeah. Like, I know when someone is speaking Spanish. Sometimes it just felt like utter gibberish, like when he was singing. Like, literally, he was just vibing, like, to the, like, I don't know. And, like, but singing a song, but it just, I don't know. But was it Portuguese every time? Like, is that just known?
Pretty sure. Like, I don't know Portuguese, but, like, the subtitles would pop up singing in Portuguese.
Oh, I didn't get those. Okay, I didn't get those subtitles then. It was just nothing whenever I was watching it. Okay.
Gotcha. Well, and they didn't do that every time, which is why I'm like, maybe you're right. You know, like maybe sometimes it isn't Portuguese, but like they did it at the beginning, and I just kind of assumed from there on he was singing in Portuguese. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I see.
But yeah, I love that the soundtrack for this movie is David Bowie.
Yeah. Life on Mars. I love that song so much.
Which one?
Life on Mars.
I mean, Life on Mars. The fact that Queen Bitch is the credit song. Absolutely love that song. Whenever the pirates raid, it's Ground Control. Ground Control to Major Tom.
Oh my god. And yeah, like, it's very interesting. Like, they're going over the top on purpose, like, with the action, you know, and I wonder if it's more of, like, obviously that pistol that he has, like, he's just killing everybody that, you know, like, just going to town, and it's over the top on purpose. And I wonder if it's, like, just that's like if this really happened this way, or if like you know, like
very conveniently
everyone's blindfolded. Yeah, everyone's blindfolded and everything.
Yeah, no, that's I mean, because he goes full action hero here for a second, and I mean, like he had to have done something that got everybody off the boat.
That is true. So I don't know.
There's also the possibility that they just took Bill and he had to be like. He had to tell them but like they would have all heard the gunshots and stuff, you know, like it's not like they can be like, we didn't hear anything. No, like they blew up part of the boat. They had to fix that. They had to like, I think this happened, which is funny. But the fact that Steve Zissou goes full action hero for a second and wipes out an entire team of pirates by himself is hilarious. Oh. I love that there's also the fact that these pirates are like terrible shots. Like whenever he's like standing in the doorway when he goes up there and they like fire at him like 50 times and he's
are
like,
you here to save me? He's just standing there for a good couple. Yeah, just like okay. I guess I am doing this. Yep, okay. Just no shot. I don't know, it's over the top, but I love it. You know, and then they just blow the whole building up with dynamite. You know, Ned's just like, give me the dynamite, runs in there, boom. You know, everyone else just standing there like, do we really go in there? Like, no, if we should do, and then just boom, you know, and everyone's running out. Like, it's
love Cody, the little dog. They had to leave him behind, which sucks. But
hey, he's the one who led him to find all the people, though. So like,
true. Cody's a real one. There's a real affinity that Wes Anderson has for dogs, that bleeds through in a lot of his movies. You know, Dudley, Cody here. We have a whole movie later on called Isle of Dogs. That's nothing but dogs and a few humans.
I think Wes Anderson's just an animal lover.
Oh yeah, and that's part of why it's so fun to watch this movie specifically. Like I said, it's like there's just an affinity for animal life that I love so much because I adore animals. So it's just a movie like this. And there was a point in my life when I was younger. I think this is a point that a lot of people have where I was like, I want to be a marine biologist. You know what I'm saying? I was like, dolphins, fuck yeah, let me study that shit. You know what I'm saying? So
The
like, it's
ocean?
just, this
That's
movie makes me so fucking happy. And,
this is the good side of the ocean. You know,
oh
like
yeah,
this
the
is like
ocean's terrifying,
yeah,
which is why I
that's the
won't
other that's what
study
I was
it.
gonna say. Is like mostly it's kind of scary to me. Like
I would never do the things they are doing.
that we know more about like space. We know more about what's out there than we do about what's in our own waters. Like we know 10% of our waters. That's all we have scoped out.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. So
And
I'm good off that, but
yeah,
I
this
do
was
respect
magic.
those who are down for that.
Yeah, people that
Because
are
that's
doing
cool
all
as
this.
fuck. And
Man.
yeah, I loved this movie. My favorite scene is the last one where they see the jaguar shark, and just the way everyone's just in awe of it, and the line that Steve delivers, "I wonder if it remembers me," and then he starts breaking down crying, and like it just gets me every time, and I had to like evaluate why, and it's because we've been talking about it. You know, he himself forgot who he was. Everyone who was there didn't forget who he was, but knew that he wasn't who he once was anymore. And I wonder if it remembers me, is like, I wonder if they'll remember me the way I was and not the way I am now. You know, like, I wonder if it remembers me like
That
the way I
makes so
want to be
much more
remembered.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause that's the only reason he would break. You know, it's
Yeah.
not like I wonder if it remembers me. Oh, I miss my friend Esteban. You know, like, and I know he does, but that's not all that is. That's a bigger moment when everyone reaches towards him and is like they all touch him and stuff. That's we do remember you for
Yeah.
who you are and who you're about to be again.
Because I do think some people were kind of like skeptical to the idea that even it existed. You know, like maybe it was just like a normal shark that, you know, ate his best friend and it was traumatic and he saw it. You know, people were like, you have crazy eyes right now, you know, and it's like, well, yeah, my best, you know, I don't know. It's like, obviously, if you see that in front of you, like, I don't know, you're going to go a little crazy. But like, I think people didn't really believe him there. And then now they're seeing it all for, you know, everyone is there in that submarine. They're all seeing it, witnessing it at the same time. And they're like, okay, no, like, he's not crazy.
You knew the whole
like,
time.
this is real. Like, and after he says, now that like you're saying that, like he says it to himself, but also to everyone else. Like for like, I don't know, the spark has been reignited, you know, and like the proof is right here for everyone else, but him, it's like also for him too. It's
He's
like,
finally realizing he has the ability to be who he used to be. And this moment's the launching off point, you know, accepting that there's something fascinating about the way this movie's also about like the cycle of life and death, you know, like his friend Esteban dies, so he's on a revenge path to kill the shark that did it, but along the way he recognizes the value of life and all living things, and Ned kind of reminds him of that, but then Ned dies, so it feels pointless to kill this shark after that. You know, it's like doesn't matter, you know, like
man, one thing, I like Klaus, but man, he could have done some routine checkup on that helicopter, you know? Like,
I mean, I don't
I mean, maybe they just shouldn't have actually flown in that thing at all.
Well, that's the thing.
The Batcopter looked, you know, from Batman 66 looked in better. Like I don't know. Like that's
the thing, man, is that like it was irresponsible of them to have a helicopter. Because they make it clear Klaus used to be a bus driver. He doesn't know how to do routine maintenance on a fucking helicopter, man. That's not something he knows how to do. So like it's Steve's fault, you know. You shouldn't be fucking flying a helicopter out here, homie.
Man,
that's fucking
the
stupid.
Crash, like showing like the red flag, like it going
going under the water, dipping a little bit, and it's bloodied.
Yeah, like oh my god, and I was like no, and like he's slowly losing it, you know, and he's like maybe if I would have just done this whatever maneuver, blah blah blah, like it could have been
like,
better.
Nobody.
But,
and then he like carries him to the shore, man. I mean, that's what's so good about this movie, man, is that like the Royal Tenenbaums got me to like tear up and border. I mean, like I definitely cried a little bit, but this movie makes me sob. Like I don't know what it is, but that part gets me crying. And then they see the jaguar shark, I'm crying more. And then he says that I wonder if it remembers me line, and I just I'm just sitting there fucking sobbing. Emily was asleep last night and she like rolled over while I was watching this part of the movie and like gave me a hug because she heard me fucking crying. And I was like, I'm sorry I woke you up. This is just so fucking good. I was like,
I literally like, it's crazy that I think I will have more of an emotional impact on the second time that I watch it than the first. Like, because the first time I'm watching, I'm trying to figure out like what the movie is in the first place, and in general. And as the movie, like I'd say once I'm like an hour to an hour and a half in, I'm there already. But like for that first like half of the movie, I'm still figuring it all out, and like I have no idea where it's going. But I'm still already a mess at the end of it. And now that like I know what the story is, like I'm gonna watch it through so many different lenses. Like I don't know, like I'm gonna like I really. Whenever I was first watching, I'm like, man, I really felt kind of bad for Ned most of the time. Only I'm just like, man, like just like all of his money, like all of his inheritance, like thrown. But it's like he really kind of went on his. Like it ended up bad for him, but like he really was finding himself, like he really thought like it was his decision, that he was doing like this. He went all that way to find, I don't know, what was it at the premiere, like a little after party, that he just found him. And I love how, I don't know, he kind of, I was a little worried, like he tells him like, hey, just wait here, like don't leave, I'll be right back. And I'm like, is he gonna come back, like ever, like does he come back? And I'm like, okay, good, because I'm like, well, I feel like Owen Wilson's in this movie for a lot longer, so I'm glad he did come back. But I don't know, I'm still like being faked out, and like I don't know whether I should like this father-son relationship or be like against it at first. And then the whole just love triangle that's with them, like I love that's like the conflict that's between them, and then like it's just laid like what's her name, Kate Blanchett's Jamie. Okay, yeah, Jamie. Yeah, she just lays it out. She's like, you're too old for me, Steve. Like I don't know, she just like puts it out like just very plainly, like I don't know, whenever he like finds the two of them laying together.
Not this one.
Yeah, and it's like but you said it to Klaus. You said, not this one, Klaus. And he's, oh, so you did hear me. I don't know. It was just, and then that's what led to the fight and everything?
Yeah.
In there. Yeah, that's why, that was, I don't know. I love that scene. It was so good.
It was a great scene, dude.
From beginning to end. So,
there's just so much in this movie that just makes me feel so fulfilled. I love a story about like, parenthood and their children, accepting the responsibility that comes with that job, like your life is different now, you're never, nothing is gonna be the same now that you're a parent, or that you're gonna be a parent. And I think that's apparent with Steve and Ned. It's apparent with Jamie and her child that's coming up. Like the arc she goes on at the beginning, being like, I don't know if I'll be back, and I don't even know why I'm still pregnant, and then it's kind of cool the way Ned makes both Jamie and Steve realize that they were supposed to be parents, that's what they're gonna do, that's what they're gonna be.
Yeah, what was the line that she said? Like, I gotta find a baby for this father, or like, like she said it kind of backwards. Like it was in a like I think it was like, was it after the pirate raid, or what? It was after was it after Ned died maybe, or was it?
I can't remember exactly when she says that, but
no, I think Ned was still alive at that point. I think it was just after the pirate, like after all the whole pirate thing settled down, and they were all just kind of in shock for a second. And no, he's on the island, maybe. I don't know, because Steve says, I think I know what you mean, like right back to her. Man, I forgot when that was, but her character was, I don't know, she was the closest one to getting the character nod, if it wasn't, if I'm not giving it to Steve. Yeah, I think it's, for right now, like I think it's just how it is, like for these first two movies, like the main characters, for me, that's what I was watching the movie through, and like I was on that arc and that journey with them, and like I hated Royal at the beginning of the Royal Tenenbaums, but then I'm fully came around on him, and I ended up being kind of okay with him at the end, but even more so with Steve here. Like I don't know, it's like he was actually a good dude, before, and not always just kind of like a piece of shit. So it's even easier to like him. So this is like way more of a feel good movie, even though it's like, I don't know, kind of more dark, than the last. Like we had some very dark things in the Royal Tenenbaums, like a suicide attempt and very dark, but it was over very fast and like back alive and out of the hospital very quick. But here it's like this is a real death on the beach, like sit with it, and it's dark and like a funeral, and like I don't know, it's like was very tragic, but I come off feeling like more fulfilled and more like satisfied from this movie.
Yeah, so do I, man. I end up very, very happy with this one, just because I don't know. There's something even greater they have to overcome in this one, because they start alone. At least with the Royal Tenenbaums, like it was because of their family that they had their problems, but it was still their family, and they had a built-in place to come back to and make that peace.
Dang.
Steve had to find that route there, and
a line of the Royal Tenenbaums, like that it's a sentence. That their family, that's a sentence. But here, like this is chosen. You choose,
it's chosen, and it's found. He didn't find it; it found him. It's not like he went out of his way to find his son. He knew he existed from the day he was born, and never looked for him. And then Ned came onto his doorstep one day, and that was that. His life was changed forever. And I love that story, man. I think it's damn compelling. I think that I don't know, I just find myself infinitely, like, this is one of my favorite movies ever. I adore this movie.
It's so I feel like there has to be like a cult following to this movie a little bit. I don't know. I feel like at like some convention somewhere, there's a big group of just people in red beanies and blue jumpsuits and these Adidas shoes. I don't know. I don't know if these Adidas shoes are real, but like if they actually sold them like after this movie, or if like they were just made for this movie, that's it, for real. But like I don't know. I feel like it's just such a. His movies just have this more, it takes something just mundane and blows it up and makes it feel so grand. Like, we see, like, the Hennessy ship, like Allie's ship, and how, I don't know, people would probably think, well, that would have been a way cooler movie if we would have had that boat with all that cool technology and, like, all this stuff. But, like, no, we have this, like, rinky-dink, super old military boat that's, like, been transformed into this ship, and it's, like, this scrap of a family, and it's like a way better story that way than if we had all this fancy technology and everything.
Dude, I love the Belafonte too. I think that design is just so fucking cool for me.
I don't know, every room, like that'd be I like just the exploration aspect of the movie too. Like that's just like, it's a very just human thing. Just we want to explore, and just natural for us. It doesn't make really a lot of sense why, but like we just want to know what's on Mars. We want to know what's at the bottom of the ocean. We want to know if there's this crazy looking shark that's just down there. And it's so satisfying to actually like see the look on his face whenever it's right there and it's coming into frame and like it's lighting up slowly and you slowly see the spots, and And then like he's the only one that's actually seen that down there out of all of them. But then he's like seen it for the second time, but he's experiencing it with everyone else for the first time. I don't know. It's like you have all these little things that are going on at once that make just the moment so grand. And it's, I don't know, he makes it land so hard. And yeah, like you're right here. Like I put this movie above the Royal Tenenbaums, that's for sure. If I'm coming back, I'm watching this movie first before the Royal Tenenbaums. But I'm still watching the Royal Tenenbaums again. That's for sure. I'm watching all these.
No, and that's the thing is that like I don't think there's a movie on this list you'll go, you know what? I wasn't that big a fan of that. No, like I love all these fucking movies, and it's just a matter of the level, the degree to which you love them. Because this one, certainly top half of the 8 for me. Easy top 4, not bottom 4. And I don't think that'll change. But there's some damn good movies we still got to cover. So like it's
found one other time he was a little mean to animals, and it's to the dolphins. And it's because I think it's because he doesn't just. I think it's because the dolphins are smarter than he is.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, because they look in and they see Ned and Jamie getting at it, but then whenever Steve walks by to when he would see, they look away, sort of thing. And so it's like, right. I don't know. And he's like, he's always like, man, I'm sick of these I don't know. He always hates the dolphins or whatever. But I think, I don't know. They never really did much in the movie. I don't know. They were always just kind of following, like it was just to make it more magical or more like magical, I guess.
It's a symbiotic relationship with the nature of it all.
Just, it was just cool. Like, just there was always nature following. Like even I don't know, in the Royal Tenenbaums too, you have like the bird Mordecai, like a bird, like dog. Yeah. Like I don't know. There's always just a lot of animals around.
I love that. I love that. It makes me extremely happy. But yeah, man, I like I said, I love this movie. My favorite character ended up going to Owen Wilson as Ned Kingsley Plimpton Zissou. Because
what a name.
Yeah, what a name. Well, just because I think he's the reason this movie. He's the reason anybody goes anywhere. He's the crux for everybody's development. Steve's development is because of Ned. Klaus's development is because of Ned. Jamie's development is because of Ned. There's he's the central figure in all their lives that changes. He's what makes the exploration different. Whenever they're sitting around the TV watching an old tape recording of their old adventures, and Klaus goes, "That's how it used to be," and they're all just sitting there kind of sad. This is what it becomes again. And the thing that's different is you got Ned there, and Ned's reigniting a passion in Steve and creating a tension because of Jamie, and it's making it exciting and it's making things fun again. And it's, I think that if you don't have Ned here, obviously it's a different movie, but, it's,
there was something that Ned said that like literally he like grabbed Steve down, like he was climbing up the ladder again, but he's like grabbed down. He's like, what the? Like, come on, man! Like, wake up! Like, you're the captain, lead now. The shark.
$75,000 in this project. You don't,
And he's like, I don't know. He said, like, that shark ate your best friend, and it's out there. Let's go get it. I don't know. He kind of just was like, really told him, I think, and then they just got on the helicopter and went. I think, like, I don't know. Maybe that was right before they got on the helicopter, that he said that. But I don't know. Ned was awesome, and just to see that out of Owen Wilson was really, like, I don't know, incredible. Like, it's what Wes can get out of these actors, and like just like the chemistry. That it seems that these people have had like these relationships for that long. Like the whole other crew, like everyone else that's been on the crew, it seems like they have been a crew for so long. And it seems that these characters like are actually like going through these things. I don't know. It's just very real. And allows you just to connect with the characters even more. But yeah, no, I think Steve Zissou.
Hell of a name.
He has to get performance and character for me. At least this first watch, that's where I'm at. but maybe
I
through a
can't
different
blame you
lens.
one bit there. Yeah, I am coming from a place of second viewing. You know, it does help me spread the love a little bit because I do think after one viewing, I can't tell you I'd pick anyone other than Steve Zissou. But another thing I did enjoy about this movie, a little detail, is that, you know, in the Royal Tenenbaums, they kick the movie off with that like version of Hey Jude, you know, the na 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 na. And this movie was very primarily David Bowie, but there's still a Beatles homage because they have a yellow submarine. You know, we all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine.
So Wes is a big fan of the Beatles. Then
I gotta guess. I mean, like, there's a few things that just feel too blatant to not make him a Beatles fan. I mean, who doesn't like the Beatles? I know there are people who are naysayers and don't like the Beatles, but
Wes just feels like a really chill dude.
Love me some Wes Anderson, man.
I don't know. I don't even really know what he looks like. I don't think if I've ever really. Huh, okay, that's Wes Anderson. I think I've seen his face before, but now I'm really okay. It's like kind of the first time I'm really assigning his face to the name.
The name to a face, yeah. No, I get you. I've had the same thing recently, where I was like, I don't know what Wes Anderson looks like. He looks a lot younger than I thought he would.
Yeah,
you know
I don't know. I thought he was way older for some reason.
Well, what's funny is he's I mean, not a young dude. He's 50. I mean, like, he's not old, but he's not a young dude by any means. He's 55, almost 55.
Wait, what? He's 55 there? 54. Yeah. What?
Yeah, he's aging well. He's a good-looking man.
Yeah, well, you just stay chill, love animals. That's
all it takes, man.
Make good art. Yeah.
Make good art, my G.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the West train. That's for sure. Like that. I don't know. I just want to know everything about this dude. Like, whenever you first introduced the idea of like this, I'm like, ooh, Kubrick would be like a really cool one. And then I'm like, I don't know. Actually, he's kind of just like a real piece of shit dude in real life. And like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I really can get behind, you know, like him. I like his movies, and I think his movies are good, but like, it's way better to have someone like Wes Anderson, where I feel like he's actually just kind of like a genuinely cool guy. I don't know. I don't know about him at all, but at least through his movies, he seems really cool. And his values.
Yeah, I think it's you know, creation. There's a window into the soul, sort of, whenever you see the movies that a person is creating or the art anybody's creating. It's a way to know the person without knowing them, which is why, like, you know, we can't truly know Wes Anderson, but I can feel like I do after watching all these movies. You know, I feel like I can know him a little bit better than I would have prior to watching them. You know. And I really enjoy this movie, man. It's just a ridiculous cast that all did so fucking good. You know, Angelica Houston as Eleanor was fantastic. Like you said, Willem Dafoe was fantastic as Klaus. Jeff Goldblum as Ollie was incredible. I just, man, I liked this movie so fucking much. I'm trying to see. There's one dude who looks wildly familiar. Bud Cort as Bill. I don't know what I've seen him in, but I feel like I've seen him in something.
MASH?
He was in the MASH TV show.
Huh. Oh, okay, not the movie then.
Oh, wait, no, that is the movie.
Did you know Vladimir Wolodarsky, played by Noah Taylor, that's the dad in Willy Wonka, or the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the one with Johnny Depp. That's the dad that worked at the toothpaste factory. That's what I know him as, and I don't know, that's what he's very small, and he doesn't have a lot of time in the movie, but he's the one that's like, hey, the tiger shark is on the radar, and it's very close. And, like, I don't know, he comes out and he just has, like, this announcement kind of moment. And I'm like, oh, that's the dad from Willy Wonka, or from the Johnny Depp Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie.
Yeah, he was Bud Cort was in the MASH movie. If you recall, we covered MASH first and foremost on our 52-year journey through film for the 1970 film. If you'll remember, there's a moment in the movie where someone starts suffering complications on the operating table, and the lead doctor asks a guy to go get cardiac needles and go help, and the guy freezes and can't move and won't. That's him, Bud Cort. Yeah, so that
Now
might be where I recognize him from.
And now he's the what was he?
The
He
corporate
was
stooge.
yeah, corporate stooge, man. I don't know, but a really cool guy, and a human
He's a
being.
good dude. He's a good dude in the end.
Man, and yeah, Matthew Gray, Gubler, Gubler. I don't know. He's like I feel. What have I seen him in? He's like a newer, but he was just one of the interns. Mines. I think that's what it is. I just see that show like all the time on clips on TikTok or Netflix or just social media. I think that's just what it is. But
yeah, no, I like a lot of these performers, man.
Thank God for Pele, played by 𝘰𝙁𝙁 S-E-U. I don't know how to
probably
pronounce that. Sue or yeah.
Sue Jorge.
Nice
Pele
voice.
de Santos.
And I don't know, it was a very nice, just broke. I don't know, you just get him playing the guitar every now and then singing a little bit of some David Bowie. And
it's wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know. It was very chill. It's just, I don't know. There's so many things going on in this movie. Like, that's like, and it doesn't even matter. Like I don't know, like moments like him just putting on the shoes and jumping up and down. Like there's just like moments that are just to make you smile, just to like we're just having a good time. Like it is just an action adventure, like it is like action adventure comedy is what IMDb puts it as. And like,
I loved the just another little bit about the affinity for life whenever they have the little seahorse in the bag and it busts open and he puts it in a wine glass and like carries it above it all. Like that's it's just another little satisfying thing where they're like, well, we got to prioritize the life of this little guy over all of us.
And then was the ring that he gave to Klaus's nephew? Was that the one? Oh, dude.
Yeah. The new crest with all their initials on it and stuff, man. That shit hurts. It's a good fucking movie, man. It just gives me chills thinking about a lot of the moments in it because man, that ending just makes it, it's already a great movie all the way throughout, but then we get to that end and it's like, I don't know, it just drains me a little bit. It makes me very happy.
The self-addressed envelopes, 50 of them ready, and there's 3 pieces of paper in there.
Correspondence.
Yeah, and like ready to go. He's like, "Yep, I made these just so it'd be easier for you, and I don't know, like you get that, like there's little things like that are just meant as a joke at first, and it's funny, but then like it comes around like at the funeral whenever you see her like put them under like the pilot's hat, like it's just, I don't know, it just adds to the moment, and like it just, every character has something in the moment, and we're experiencing it with them at the same time, and that's like, man,
when Klaus like salutes Ned at the end, man, I don't know, that shit gets me, bro. It's so good.
Yeah, like thank you for putting me on the dolphin. Like I don't know if you understand what this means to me, but then he's like, I do, and he, like just in the helicopter, yeah, just like, I do understand. Like they just have that connection moment, whatever that was there, that was just between them. That was just a moment between Klaus? Yeah, Klaus and Ned. Man. Names.
There's a behind the scenes photo on IMDb of the Belafonte after it had been built. It's like on set.
Oh.
Is it just giant crane with the camera on it?
Wow. Yeah, they really built the whole they actually walked through
the entire fucking thing.
Yeah, like no cuts. That's like, for some reason I thought like they actually just built every room, but it wasn't actually. I don't know. I thought it was just each room was on its own, and then they would cut somehow.
It was too practical, man. Like it looked so good, and that's what I love about these movies is that there's so much of it that is practical. Like there's so little that's visual effects, and I think that really adds to the weight of these movies. It makes them feel like there was a lot of love and care put into put into the project they're creating.
Yeah.
And
even the underwater shots, like whenever they were actually down there diving, like in
dude,
like
gorgeous.
swimming through, like going down like in the you just seen the sea life, the fluorescent fish or whatever that like gave them the sign, like, oh yeah, this was close around the tiger or jaguar shark whenever I was here last time. It's just this beautiful like pink,
those little pink fishies.
Fish. Yeah, it's like, oh, just a nice, beautiful moment to have. Yeah. But this, I don't know. I'm definitely glad that like with this project we can get like more. These movies are all like very different in their own sense, but all like follow his style. Like
they
so
have a heart
closely.
to them that
it's so cool to see that. Yeah, like instead of like on the 52-year journey through film, like we're just going through way different. It's just like whatever kind of the big movie was for the year, like whatever we kind of felt was right. But this is like specifically one person, you know, like in their vision for different stories. And it's so cool to see like how he handles an adventure out in the sea versus a family all at home, you know, like just
man.
Yeah, it's
vastly different, but they have that same heart, and it's just like I don't know how you manage to create something like that is beyond me. You know, I like to think of myself as a creative, but I certainly couldn't have ever thought of anything like this. This is just too damn good.
It's like to make it funny and to make it just enjoyable as you're just sitting through it. But then to have like moments that seem like throwaway things actually come back around and make you kind of tear up at the end. You know, it's just like things that don't seem to matter, or even things that do at sometimes. Like, I don't know, it's like how will that come back around at the end? And it's just everything matters, like in the movie. You know,
man, he understands the importance of a prop, like the sentimentality that we all. I know we don't all carry a sentimentality for things, but you know, I do, you know, I always go back and I look at things. I have a little drawer dedicated to little trinkets and stuff that remind me of things.
You just can't throw away, you know, it just feels wrong to throw something like that away, you know, like,
I think Wes Anderson understands the importance of little things like that, like the correspondence notes and stuff like that, the letters she was going to write.
Mm-hmm.
All that, like it's just too strong, you know. The ring that he puts on Klaus's nephew's finger and then he throws him on his shoulders, like, you know, it just makes me very, very happy, very, very satisfied to see the way this movie went. It's
in the credits, like even like the start of the credits, it's just them all walking and slowly joining in, you know, one by one by one, and then like I guess it's before the main credits, but like I don't know, it's still the end of the movie. And just walking, you know, he's just walking, just everyone's smiling, just happy, and I'm just like, wow, like yeah, I do feel great, you know. This was just so good. Like I felt like, I don't know, it was just on the journey with him, and it felt right just to end like on that note. I don't know, like it was very sad what happened with Ned and everything, but you feel just very satisfied, like that the vision's back and like the crew is back on, and like this movie, we don't even know how it's accepted, but he, you know, we already see an award, and he knows, you know, sort of thing. It's like he's back.
He's like, oh, we made a goodie in there, and it's because they weren't by the end of it, they weren't prioritizing the product they were creating. They were just doing their thing and letting the product speak for itself. Because when we see those little clips from the movie, it's not the scripted stuff. You know, it ends up being sort of a eulogy for Ned. And it takes the stuff that was just filmed in these candid moments, and that's what becomes the movie. That moment when Jamie is standing next to Steve and Ned, and, you know, they're talking when they're up in the hot air balloon, and she's like, you know, I think I had this poster in my room when I was a kid. And he's like, oh, the one where I'm like pointing off in the distance like this. And she's like, yeah. And then he like tries to kiss her, and she pulls away, and he's like, okay, cool.
Awkward.
But when they're on the ground and they're on the boat at the end, and, you know, Ned like points and he's like this, and she's like, and you do it too, Steve, and they both do it, and it's like, god damn, after everything, it hits that much harder, like to have saved that footage until the end of the movie after Ned's death was
that might
a
be the
brilliant
best
choice,
shot,
you know.
actually, of the movie. Now that I think about it. That, I don't know. I do like his funeral shot because you do get the, it goes down. You see the new flag that he made, and like it, wrapped around his casket or whatever. But that it was like a candid shot. You're right. Like it wasn't scripted at all. It was just candid, like a moment that was just real and put in there. Like, showing all of them out there was pretty good. Ooh, do I make the switch at the very last minute here? I don't know. I think I do. What do you call that? What do you call that? Maybe just what to call that pose? Just the point. Yeah. Steve, does Jamie also point as well?
No, I think she.
She's
I don't
just
think
kinda
she points. She
standing
just
there?
kind of stands there and like
Yeah,
sees
okay.
them do it.
I think I will change to that because it does kind of encapsulate like at the very end, like that. You're right. Like it wasn't the scripted moments that made it into it, and it wasn't like they had that like light meter to check like what the light meter was for I don't know the little click thing, and like even whenever he like Ned drowned and they just brought him back, like they were checking like the light meter or whatever that thing was
he's
for
like,
like
how
the
you
shot.
shooting this, Vikram? Like he's like sitting there over his body, and he's like, how you?
Yeah.
What's this look like?
And then you see Ned kind of be like, wait, fucking for real? Like, you guys are worried about the shot right now? But he's like, all right, all right, well, he's dealing with coming back to life, but basically, or coming back to consciousness. But yeah, by the end of it, it is just the real moments, and I don't know, that's just kind of what it's all about. Like, you see that the whole time that they are doing moments, they are just so fake. Like we see that they're fake, when the camera's rolling. But then by the end of it, it is the real journey that they went on. That's the satisfying part. So yeah, I think I will switch my shot actually there.
I support that. I cannot blame you for that one bit. I mean, like this movie's loaded with beautiful imagery, man. Like there's so many moments. Like I was just talking about how when they were up in the hot air balloon, when they're sitting side by side and the sun is like streaming in from behind Jamie, and her like face is like enveloped in sunlight, and you can see Steve a little bit like he's shadowed. He's a little bit of a silhouette, but you can still see him pretty clearly. Like it's so damn good. And there's that moment at the beginning, like the first little interview that Steve and Jamie have, where they're sitting at the bottom of the ship and there's just a killer whale, an orca swimming behind him. Dude, I love shit like that. Like that was so satisfying. And Jamie and Steve had one of the more interesting dichotomies in this movie. Just because they were like, it's so fascinating the dynamic that they had, because he's a hateful, shitty person, kind
of like
you
never want to meet your hero kind of thing. Like it would be really nice if they are the way you think they are, and like they are the person that you want.
The way she kicks off the interview with like, so what do you think happened? And he's like, that's your first fucking question. We're not going to do any fluff first, like you're just going to jump right into how I failed over the last couple years. And no, I loved that, and the way that I think what really bothers Jamie a lot is that she sees a lot of what she is in danger of becoming if she lets herself keep going down the path that she might think she's on, and that kind of gets to her a little bit, and she sees an opportunity to kind of see how this plays out, not just for the journalistic side of things, but like how it might affect her, how it might change her as a person. It's a real compelling arc that every character sees in this movie. The only one, ironically enough, who doesn't really see like a true arc in terms of change of character is Ned. He's just kind of Ned the whole time, but that presence is what everyone else needed.
Tragic,
I love that.
but I don't know, worth it for everyone else, you know. Like it's very sad what happened in that, but man, at least it was positive what came out of the end, you know. And not everyone just went home and felt defeated and gave up. They went out there, they found that dang freaking jaguar, tiger, or shark. I don't know, what do you call that thing? The Zissou.
Name it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's called. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a unique, like, there's no, I don't know. I don't know what movie to compare this to. You know, like, like, I don't know what comparisons to draw other than, like, from the Royal Tenenbaums, because it's just in his style. But even these movies are just very different. Like, it has, like, the adventure and, like, the sea, like, excitement of, like, Jaws, you know, of, like, going out and finding a big shark, you know. But this time it's not like it's just a killer shark, but it's also like this beautiful unknown species that, like, it's like would be this great find. It's like this adventure, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. But then you have, like, the crew of Jaws. You know, we only got 3 people out on that boat, but we got a whole found family here on this one, and we have all the character, you know, interactions between them. So it's like, I don't know, it's like everything turned to max, you know, like the adventures turned to max, the actions even turned to max, and I don't really care about the action all that much, but it's fun to watch while I'm watching the movie. But then the drama aspect of it is just amazing. Like, it's just so well done.
Yeah, man, I adore this movie, and it's going to be an interesting rating for us, for sure, just because this one, you know, Royal Tenenbaums, I was like, there's room to grow. This one is like, this is up there. This is one of my favorites. So it's like, it's hard to be like, oh, well, let's hesitate here. No, I love this movie, you know, so it's hard to say.
9 is like my absolute floor for this enjoyment. I'm like 9 or 9.2595. Like, that might be the floor. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I love it. Like, I'm gonna watch this movie again. I want this red beanie. Like, I don't know why. I really just want this beanie. And I love how, like, I always never knew how to wear a beanie. Like, I don't know. I was always maybe just too insecure to wear a beanie, because I always felt like it just looked dumb if you had just that little crunch of just whatever. But you just gotta own it. I don't know. That's just, I don't know. I think
they pull it off, man.
It just works. And I don't know. I want this beanie for some reason. And I don't know. I just can't wait to watch this movie again. Like, this is, it's just a whole different type of movie experience that I can't, like, I don't know what comparison to make, like, of another, like, movie that gives me this experience.
No, yeah. For me, this is floor 9.5 enjoyment. Like, it's that good. I enjoy it that much. You know, we've been talking about the top 100 and doing that in the future. I'm constant every time I watch a movie for the first time or rewatch a great movie, I always evaluate where I have it on my top 100. And right now, this is top 30.
Dang, yeah. No, this
one of my favorite movies of all time.
I really like this. I was like confident that I'm like, yeah, I think Royal Tenenbaums, it's sliding in there in the top 100. This is like confidently going up there. Yeah. Like, this one is like without a doubt.
There's zero doubt in my mind that this is one of my favorite movies of all time.
And I feel like it is only a movie that could get better, like, over time. Like, it's only going, like, the more I understand these characters, like, I don't know. I'm just gonna watch it. Like, now that I just have, like, this cult out, like, I don't know. I was really like I had so many different directions that I thought it was gonna go, you know, at the very beginning.
Yeah, that's so funny to me.
That's just crazy, you know, that's just so out there. But now that I know what the movie is completely, like, I don't know. I can't wait to watch it again. And, like,
dude, and it's a wonderful watch. I can't
I'm fine with like 9.5 or 9.75. I just didn't know how much room you wanted to, you know, if for all the rest, since you know kind of where we're going. But I mean, I'm there, and this is just my first watch. So, like, I think it's, you know, for me, I'm kind of 9.25, like 9.5 was like my floor, because, like, I think it can only, like, go up from there.
I'm confident there are 2 for me, 2 definite 10 out of 10 enjoyments.
Okay.
I'd put this one just below those. I don't think I can confidently go 10 out of 10. So, I'd be comfortable with a 9.5. I think a 9.5 is fair.
Okay. All right. And I agree with that. Now, critically, I mean,
I think
it
it's
was
a
better
step up
made.
from Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's for sure. Like the practical set of this, like the actual
Gorgeous.
shots that were like the use of just the claymation, like just to own it, like it isn't real, it's just magical, and it's like that's what it's for, like colorful ass animals, and like just to throw that in there, and like it's so unique, and like to get, I don't know, like Bill Murray, I guess I don't have a lot of maybe movies that he's in, but like I never really thought of him as like, whenever he got serious and emotional, I'm like, wow, like I don't know, I just don't really expect that from Bill Murray all the time.
Wonder if it remembers.
And then Owen Wilson as well. What'd you say?
The part where he says, "I wonder if it remembers me." Like the face he makes immediately after
when he breaks. Yeah, it's like,
yeah, man. It just
like,
kills me, man. And I adore it. It's so fucking good.
So yeah,
my hang up for this one, I think visually it's an elevation from the Royal Tenenbaums. I think that performance wise, we're looking. I don't know if this is as well written as the Royal Tenenbaums is.
Okay.
I feel like that one's really, really, really cohesive. But visually, I think it's a step up. I think that it. So there's a balance there that I think I've come to the point, which is hilarious, because my brain for ratings has evolved so much, where I used to be like, writing is my highest priority. It is no longer my highest priority. I think that if you are aesthetically pleasing me, the sound design is wonderful, the soundtrack is wonderful, the acting is great, you can get by with an all right script. And this has a better than all right script. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is still a good script. Mm-hmm. So I would still elevate this above the Royal Tenenbaums critically, and I think I'd find myself at around maybe just half a point, maybe just 8.5, maybe even just 8.25. Like I think it's better than the Royal Tenenbaums, but not by much,
I think I'm right there too. Yeah, it's like I think he's definitely way more comfortable in his style, way more confident with it here, and he's like, all right, now I'm gonna try to make everything in my style, which is really nice. And then just having again, like everyone is very character like animated, like their outfits are changing over time, but they're still very the same. The interns are always in their intern outfit. It's like, what character you're looking at, like sort of thing. They all have Glocks.
Klaus's beanie has a little puffball instead of the normal the thing.
He tucked it in his wetsuit whenever they stormed the island so that he could take it out and put it on during the mission. No one else did. He was the only one. He's so serious about Team Zissou, and like the A team, and he's like, you're the leader of B team, don't you understand? And then you get later on when he's like, yeah, now you're A team, and then he like looks at him like it's just like Klaus it was so good. But yeah,
Willem Dafoe plays he's a common role in Wes Anderson films. He'll be popping up a few more times. And he's got like his role in the Grand Budapest Hotel. Dude, like I don't like that's one of my favorites. He does so good in that movie. But yeah, man, I don't know. What you comfortable with that 8.25 to 8.5? What are you thinking there?
No, I think it does deserve a little bump above Royal Tenenbaum, but not by a whole lot. I think I was around 8.25 was my gut.
Let's do with that. Let's go with that then. I don't want to give it too much of an elevation, just because I think that there are a few movies coming up that I think are better written, and he has that style. And they're at minimum 8.5. You know what I'm saying? Like that's and I think that's fair. So this one ends up coming to an 87% for us.
That's
on our
right.
good old tomato meter,
Oh yeah.
which I really dig.
On IMDb, they gave her a 7.2 out of 10, so we're a little nicer.
All right, and on Rotten Tomatoes, this one is not doing too well with the critics. This one gets a 57% on the critic tomato meter, and it gets an 82% in the audience score. So we were nicer than both this time, as opposed to the Royal Tenenbaums, where we fell right in the middle of both of them. They just don't get it. They just don't get it.
50 what?
7.
That's a little blasphemy.
Yeah, certified rotten, apparently, which I disagree with. I think this is a wonderful movie, and I do love it very, very much. So you're not going to be able to convince me that this isn't a good movie. I love this thing. I
don't see that at all. That's weird.
No. But yeah, an 87% on ours. It's an elevation of 5% from the Royal Tenenbaums, which is I tend to agree. It is. I think it's an overall elevation. There's no doubt in my mind about it. But with that, we will conclude this episode of the Director's Spotlight, and Wes Anderson will remain in that spotlight for the next 3 weeks. Next week, we've got 2 more Wes Anderson films for you in the 𝘼𝙰𝙁𝙁𝙀 and Fantastic Mr. Fox on Wednesday and Friday, respectively. The week after that, Moonrise Kingdom and the Grand Budapest Hotel, which might just be the greatest week of coverage we will ever do. Mostly because, this week we had the season 3 finale. Next week we have the season 4 premiere, and the week after that is season 4 episode 2, which is a big one for Game of Thrones fans because we say goodbye to one of the most hateable characters the world ever knows. So we'll be covering that episode and 2 of my favorite movies of all time, which is
what a moment, what a week,
a great week for us, here on the Penny Bloom podcast. So yeah, we've got the Winter is Blooming show, our Game of Thrones rewatch. That's on Mondays. So please come on back for that. Season 4 begins next Monday. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, you got to catch up with that. You got to watch it along with us. It's been so rewarding. Your homework, season 4 premiere, Game of Thrones, the 𝘼𝙰𝙁𝙁𝙁 and Fantastic Mr. Fox before next week. That's what we've got cooking for y'all at home. So excited for y'all to hear it. We've got a lot of good shit in the works. If you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, including book reviews, movie reviews, comic book reviews, and the like. I've gotten into writing again, and it's been a great deal of fun. I'm so excited to be back on my bullshit there, throwing on the headphones and just typing away for a while. It's very fun. So for $3 a month, you can support this podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money, and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. I wish I had my own little Ned Plimpton to donate me $275,000 to make this shit happen, but, it is what it is. Head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening, and do me a favor and please download. We're having a rough month download-wise, and I'm not sure particularly why that is. Just not as hot as usual. I think it was a series of rough comic book movies that we covered, and it's just the end of the Mandalorian season and such. It was just like people lost. No, it is what it is. But wanting some downloads. Per episode's not doing too. Per episode's not doing too bad. It's just that we're not getting any of those backlog downloads. We're not getting new listeners who are like, oh yeah, let me download a shit ton of your episodes. You know what I'm saying? Episode to episode, we're doing fine. But I want those new listeners. Anybody who's a new listener and you're wanting to go back and listen to our old shows, remember to download. It helps me a lot. Makes me very happy. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for downloading. I was Colton Robertson, and I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And this is an adventure.